Ladies and gentlemen, Fox News, John Durham to testify before House Judiciary Committee. NBC News, John Durham to testify before House Judiciary Committee in June. John Durham will testify before Jim Jordan, the House Judiciary, on June 21st. He's going to talk about felonies, ladies and gentlemen. It is not legal. It is against the law. I don't care if people hide behind, we really thought that Trump was working with another country. It is against the law to utilize government officials to utilize a dossier to deceive the American public. That is not legal. Has it been legal thus far? Yes, of course. But John Durham did not utilize the legal statute 18 U.S. Code 371. You have to have intent to deceive. There was intent there. There was not a shred of evidence that Trump ever worked with another country. James Comey is a brilliant man. Okay? Whether or not he told the truth under oath is another story. He's a very smart man. Hillary Clinton is a brilliant woman. These people are extremely savvy. They know exactly how to utilize government and media and the passions of constituents within the Democratic Party. Tens of millions of people wanted a scapegoat, and you have everybody from Andrew McCabe to Peter Strzok. These are all highly intelligent, very knowledgeable. Kevin Kleinsmith, who pled guilty to lying to a FISA judge. John Brennan, James Clapper, President Obama, who orchestrated almost certainly all of this. He was the top. Everyone worked for President Obama. And James Clapper mentioned that when he was basically caught and he was asked, I think it was on MSNBC, well, why did you investigate Trump? Oh, well, it was part of President Obama's overall, he kind of tried to blame President Obama. I forgot exactly how James Clapper did it, but it was in typical typical deposition type of answer. All of these people are very highly intelligent, savvy. They're very good at manipulating. And Hillary Clinton, the DNC, were fined by the FEC. They utilized campaign money from Bernie Sanders after Bernie Sanders was cheated in the DNC primary and Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign. This is against the law. You cannot set up and frame an incoming candidate because an outgoing administration's intel officials have high to moderate confidence without any shred of evidence at all. They utilize as a pretext a meeting that George Papadopoulos. So what? Bill Clinton met with you-know-who at his home outside of Moscow. So you want to compare Alexander Downer with Vladimir Putin? Because Bill Clinton met with him outside his home in Moscow. Okay? This is according to The Hill and Newsweek. So you want to talk about ties, and there's no comparison. You have Hunter getting like millions from the former mayor's wife of Moscow. That's unbelievable. So they set up and framed Trump. The Durham probe report outlines everything. Durham did not look for intent to deceive, to manipulate. John Durham tried to prosecute the Durham probe special counsel in the same way as Mueller did. He didn't have the government on his side. The Federal Bureau of Investigation was not going to go to bat for Durham because they are implicated in everything. They were an extension of the Democratic Party. The entire country knows this. Democrats don't care because they think that they have they were ordained by God to just simply level the full weight and force of the United States government against anyone they don't like. So the people who like DeSantis think that, well, this won't happen to DeSantis. They're already compiling a DeSantis dossier. It started with a dossier and a meeting. So whenever you bring up the Steele dossier, it was complete lies. The Washington Post, for example, is democracy perishes in darkness. And they know very well that the DNC do good reporting on the facts here and there when they're forced to. The DNC and the Clinton campaign paid for a dossier that was filtered through the U.S. government and utilized to investigate their direct political rival. Then they went after George Papadopoulos. They went after Michael Flynn. They set up and framed all of these people. These people did nothing wrong. The DOJ indictments just say they lied to agents. Okay. If the tables were turned, you'd have infinitely more indictments based on that type of process crime. The overarching theme was that Trump was working for another country. They created a new Cold War, McCarthy-era Red Scare. 18 U.S. Code 371 is the statute. You need intent to deceive and to manipulate. The intent is there. You have text messages from agents with animus, with disdain, vitriol, venom towards Trump that Michael Horowitz talked about. Michael Horowitz, I believe I have a short on the Honorable Michael Horowitz. I have a short from the Honorable James Comey. The really stupidest thing in American politics is the lack of any suspicion towards any government official that sides with the Democratic Party overtly. It's just unbelievable. Their rebuttal is, you can't prove anything. But you can. With Hunter's laptop, with text messages from government officials, you can definitely prove that they disliked Trump and they deliberately wanted to go up and stop him. You'll have one text message saying, literally, we will stop him, and they did. Or they almost did. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. You can read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, and other publications. Go to hagoodman.com. I'll be having some wonderful interviews soon with some really amazing people. My Patreon link is below. The super thanks is below. Hit subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. I know it is so slow out there in terms of news. The channel's slow right now, but hit subscribe. We're gonna get to this year and the next year, I would say over 300,000 subscribers. It doesn't look like that now, but we're gonna have some amazing live streams with some beautiful, wonderful, amazing, awesome people. Interviews. And it's going to be an honor, and then I'm just going to build from those interviews, and because I have a whole lot of interests, not just politics. I'll speak to, individuals in sport and wrestling and a whole bunch of, so, and I'll make it known also, look, I'm totally cool and happy to speak with people who don't have my political viewpoints. Totally fine, especially if it's a shared interest, especially if they're awesome and, legendary in their own capacity. And if they're willing to go on the channel, it'll be an honor for me. And, I'll say, look, this discussion, this interview has nothing to do with politics. So my politics has nothing to do with the person I'm interviewing. But anyway, it's going to be really awesome. I'll have these interviews on live streams. So those live streams should do well. And I think, the channel has a great deal of potential. And we're going to tap into that potential the next year, especially going into 24. My God. Anyway, these are very intelligent, savvy, knowledgeable people, okay? They don't do things, just do things. You don't have the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation just, blindly siding with Clinton. It's not just... They've hid behind this facade of impartiality and this kind of apolitical facade. Well, it's an obvious illusion, a farce. That's what the John Durham testimony will be all about in June. Give me your thoughts below. And these are illegal acts. These are criminal acts by numerous people. Give me your thoughts. Thank you so very, very much. Hit subscribe.